This is the Arana Nation Friday night. And I gotta say, I got a word in my mouth. I got a word in my mouth. I'm here to tell you, don't invite Michael Arana to another protest in this country again, unless there's action involved. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go to any more protests. I don't want to do it because every time a group in Canada forms a protest, nothing gets done. Only 2 or 5 people show up. Some person makes some speech or some whatever, going on and on and on. Nobody cares. Nobody listens. And then nothing gets done. I want to do what the people in France are doing. I want to do what the people in France are doing. The yellow vests, the gilets jaunes. I support the yellow vests. I support them in everything they do. Blocking roads, tearing up Paris, opening up toll booths so people could go in for free. That's what I support. And demanding the resignation of Emmanuel Macron. Something that no Canadian would ever have the balls to do. I'm not going to any more protests unless we do what the yellow vests in France are doing. And I support them. I support the yellow vests. Vive la yellow vest! Vive la gilets jaunes! Vive la France! Vive la French Revolution! I support the yellow vests. Now, there are people who want to form the yellow vests in Canada. I've been seeing that now. People who watch Arana Nation, who watch my videos, who listen to what I have to say, and I had said that I want the yellow vests to come to Canada. Well, I should have been more I should have explained that more. Not only do I want the yellow vests to come to Canada, I want them to do everything that the yellow vests in France are doing. The French have it right. The English Canadian does not do it right. You go to a Canadian, and I've been to many Canadian protests. A bunch of old people go there, nothing, just standing around with the sign, don't even hold the sign up properly. They might play the anthem at the beginning, make some speech, and there's a soft little speech, polite. Nobody cares about that. You see the yellow vests in France. You saw what happened in France now, do you? Did you see what happened? The government caved in. They caved into the demands of the street. And I don't care what anybody says. Oh, you cannot promote violence. I'm promoting whatever it needs to be to stop from being hosed. And by the way, if you're going to hijack the yellow vest movement, make sure you talk about what the yellow vests are talking about. Big governments hosing the little guy, draining the little guy financially, taxes, fees, the expense of living going up and up and up and up and up for the little guy, the average guy. Meanwhile, rich, aristocratic people who never had to work a day in their life, like Justin the long-haired Mac Daddy Trudeau, who became rich for doing nothing but being born a Trudeau, and the rest of these other Canadian families and families across the world, Europe and all that stuff. That's what the yellow vests, I'm talking about from a Canadian perspective, but in France, they are against the high cost of living, taxes, all this sort of stuff. I mean, if you're going to talk about immigration, talk about that somewhere else. That's a different venue, different time. Immigration is not what yellow vest was started about. It's the high cost of living. And I'll talk about immigration all you want for another venue, another time, another subject. But I saw videos of yellow vests going on the highway, lifting up the toll booth, lifting up the toll gate so people can go through for free. I think we should do that in Canada. And I'm going to do it here. I'm going to go on the 407. I'm going to vandalize the 407 so that the camera can't catch those people's license plates so people who are going to work and who are making barely enough to get by can go to work the quick way on the 407 for free instead of having to pay an arm and a leg just to go to work or just to get by in their own community. But meanwhile, you got people who are on vacation coming through the GTA. They go through the 407. They got the means, but their own people in the GTA can't do it. That's the kind of activism I'm talking about. And I'm talking about going into the cities, the heart of globalization, where all the globalists live, and creating havoc and causing chaos and causing destruction and disruption. And I'll do it. And people say, oh, well, what about the innocent people who have nothing to do with politics? There ain't no innocent people in the city of Toronto, just like there ain't no innocent people in the city of Paris. The people of the city of Paris voted for Emmanuel Macron. They are just as guilty, if not more guilty, than Emmanuel Macron himself. Because if it wasn't for the people of Paris, Macron would have never been in power. So they deserve what they got last Saturday. I support all of it. I support all of it. I may not support vandalizing the Arc de Triomphe because that's a symbol of veterans of France. You shouldn't do that. And many of the yellow vests were protecting it or tried to. But riot in Paris, just like I would say riot in Toronto, the people of Toronto, they voted for Justin Longhair and Matt Daddy Trudeau. They're just as guilty as anybody. I feel no sympathy if anybody decided to grow some nuts and tear up the city of Toronto, tear up Yonge Street, tear up the Rogers Centre, tear up Maple Leaf Centre, tear up Queen Street, tear it all up. I wouldn't feel any sympathy for the people of Toronto, downtown Toronto, because they voted for Justin Trudeau, the long-haired Matt Daddy. But anyway, I am somebody who believes that the average citizen needs to be respected again all over the world, whether it's in Canada or France, America, England, Belgium, Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal. I don't care where you are. Africa. I don't care where you are. The governments of the world should scrap globalism immediately and should start listening to the people again. Stop trying to take more money from the people with this global warming, all this stuff like that. Tell these big companies to plant trees. Let's do that. But the message of this video is I've got many people who invite me to all these protests. They want to invite me to the UN Migrant Compact protest, to the Yellow Vest Canada protest, to all these protests in Canada. And I said, don't invite me. Don't invite me anymore. Because you guys, you can protest all you want. But let me tell you something. Your protesting isn't doing it in Canada anymore. And you can say this is just some crazy black man just going on and on. He wants to start problems. Well, let me tell you something. The old waspy way of just protesting, standing on some street with some sign, the old little Canadian way. Hey, look at my sign. Look at me protest. And then go home and go eat some pig feet and drink some Tim Horton coffee and watch some hockey game and go to bed. That's not going to cut it anymore. We have to do what the French are doing. The French have it right. The French have it right. And the French get what they want. I mean, you see some of the things. The Yellow Vests have basically taken over the streets now. And this is average people. This isn't left. This isn't right. This is average people who want respect, who want lower taxes, who want lower expenses, lower cost of living, and they're getting what they want now. And this is how they're doing it. They're doing it the correct way. You can call it revolution if you want. You should stop being afraid of such words. Stop this waspy, we have to be polite and good and kind and nice. And, we can start by doing that. We start out nice. We start out peaceful. But if we're not getting any respect, and if our political leaders are just rolling over us, then we have to ramp it up. For the Arana Nation, this is Michael Arana, and you are watching the Arana Nation.